Hello everyone, and welcome back to the IGS series on Team Ico's Shadow of the Colossus, where we hope to give you something a little different than those other video game channels. If you've played any action-adventure game, then Shadow of the Colossus won't seem too alien to you at first glance. Controlling Wander and his horse Agro, you're left to explore the countryside, climb up ancient ruins, and fight with both your sword and bow and arrow. While the game does make use of a few tutorial windows explaining which buttons do what, they are few, far between, and only at the very beginning of the game. Unlike many adventure games, the individual gameplay mechanics are few and simple, allowing the player to gain competency quickly and easily. There is no magic system, nor is there a series of confusing stats and special powers to acquire, which one must learn and master as the game goes on. This lack of complication does not mean the game is without nuance, however, only that it does help to make the game easier to get into, which makes it a more effective attention trap. Too often, a game will front-load itself with hours of tutorial and a stats system that will have you optimizing your character's build after 100 hours of gameplay. While games like this do have their appeal, they require a certain degree of commitment from the player. By contrast, Shadow of the Colossus pulls its audience in quickly, teaching the player to run and jump and ride aggro before they have to do any fighting at all. They teach you the game's climbing mechanics on your way to the first battle. This is critical, as the Colossi are, well, colossal. Well, except for that lion guy, he's only a little bigger than you. But, for the most part, you're going to have to climb the Colossi if you want to kill them. And the giant monsters move and try to shake you off, so it's good to get practice in climbing the ruins on your way to where the first Colossus is, thus priming yourself for your first battle, because once you're in the thick of things, it's much more complicated. You're moving about, nearly getting thrown off these huge beasts while you have to climb and maneuver to their classic video game glowing weak points. Now you'll notice as the player climbs the first Colossus here, the pink circle shrinking in the bottom right of the screen. This is the stamina gauge, which will force him to let go of the Colossus if it runs out. This keeps an element of suspense in the climbing, forcing the player's attention onto the battle at all times, not allowing them to look away for a minute. And as long as they hold on to that grab button, there's no danger of them falling off. Now if you look further below, the red meter in the bottom is a traditional health bar, which will replenish itself so long as Wander is at rest, so there's no need to worry about bringing healing potions for any of these fights. The game takes care of that, just so long as you're careful. As you progress through the game fighting larger and more complicated Colossi, you're going to need more stamina for this gauge, and it never hurts to have more health, no matter what game you're playing. And while Shadow of the Colossus may not have a complex system for upgrading the player character, there are no experience points to invest, no heart pieces to collect, or complex skill trees to sort through, you're not entirely without options. Hidden throughout the Forbidden Land are wild lizards and groves of fruit trees. You'll have to hunt the lizards down with your bow, but doing so will add health to your meter, and knocking fruit from trees will expand your stamina gauge, making you more formidable when the time comes to face the tougher Colossi later in the game. After all, going up against the giant bird with only the starting amount of stamina is going to make for a long and tiring fight, especially if you keep falling off and have to bait it to attack you again. The game also asks that you develop a close relationship with your horse, Agro. He is your constant and only companion throughout the entire game. Without Agro, it would take hours to get from place to place in the vast emptiness of the Forbidden Lands. Moreover, your trusty steed is also a great help in battle. Many of the Colossi, like this one, are best fought on horseback. As you can see, they move very quickly and attack faster than Wander can dodge on foot. Clever players have even taken to using the high jump Wander executes when leaping off his horse to catapult him at the Colossi and into hard-to-reach places. The Forbidden Land is full of mystery, and the mere fact that some of its greatest secrets require such a skill to uncover demonstrates the kind of depth the game has to it. What is this strange, empty land? Why is it filled with massive creatures that seem as much pieces of the landscape as they do living things? Who is this god, Dorman, who sends you out to hunt them down? For those answers, watch on. Everyone, thanks for watching IGS. We don't have a capture card yet, and credit for the footage goes to Charles Bronson, who very kindly agreed to let us use his. You can find a link to his channel in the description. If you enjoyed the video, check out the rest of our Shadow of the Colossus series below, and hit the like and subscribe buttons. See you next time.